Hello, everyone. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this morning? This morning, we're going to do our subject on politicians and their transformation from a good person to a scumbag, a swamp creature. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Should be pretty interesting. But while I'm waiting for a few people to show up, excuse me, and YouTube to send out some notifications, let's talk about Chicago and the Latin Kings gang, who are basically saying kill on sight any ICE agent. You want to self-destroy yourself? Okay, that's the best way to do it. If you were starting to get the upper hand, all they would do is send a tank out or an airplane and bomb and missile your ass. But this is what you got. This is the law-abiding people we're supposed to have in this country, the gangs. What a bunch of shit. Who runs Chicago? Probably the gangs do. Anyway, I would love to see them bring. They're going to have the military in there in 1 second. DOD regulation 5240.01. Maybe you Latin Kings should read it, because you'd be the first example of what would happen to somebody who sat there and decided to just shoot up the government, okay? Especially if you're a foreigner piece of shit, okay? They're doing this because they want to stay in this country. You know, us patriots, when we sit there and take on the government, it's going to be to get our country back, not have somebody stealing it. So anyway, the Latin Kings, yeah, what a bunch of wusses. The military would annihilate them so fast, but maybe that's the best thing that could happen. Let them overplay their hand, and then we can get rid of some of these gangs in these cities. I mean, in the cities, these people in the cities not only have to deal with gangs now they have to deal with the military. What a great time to live in a big city. Well, we got some people showing up, so let's start the conversation about a politician who, before they go to Washington for the first time, and this would go for a state government too, and they go there and they turn into a damn swamp creature. Isn't it amazing, all these young people with fresh young minds and stuff, and they're always going to go to Washington and change Washington, right? And the only thing that ever happens is Washington changes them, okay? And this is all the way from Donald J. Trump all the way down to the piece of shit Democrats like Omar and crap like that, AOC, Chuck Schumer and stuff, all of them, bunches of pieces of shit, okay? And Trump's got the National Guard in D.C. now, right? Trump's in D.C. now, buddy. Start draining the swamp. Even though you may be caught in the suction going down the drain yourself, oh well, drain the swamp. I am so sick and tired of seeing this country falling apart. I grew up Minnesota. Minnesota Vikings fans. Went to many games in the Metrodome, but I never had to stare at a faggot male cheerleader acting like a girl. We're going to expose our children to this shit. Roger Goodall, good job with the NFL. I'm going to do a video on Sunday on things I'd rather do than watch the NFL right now. So does that mean, since we're going to have male cheerleaders, we're going to start having female football players? Is that what's coming next? You know, all you trolls can sit here and say your stupid ass retarded shit all you want on YouTube. All you do is make my analytics better and you look retarded. But you know what? Trolls need a place too. Okay? Whatever. Okay? And I know YouTube pays a lot of them and stuff, but that's fine. I'm a Marine. There's not an insult that you could ever come up with me that would even dent the armor in me. But anyway, we got to deal with troll. Hey, Bambi, how you doing? Bambi, don't make sure. Yeah, I know all these. This is a sick world we live in. Sick. Gay fucking cheerleader, some moron in here who's probably beating off to me because he thinks I'm cute, saying this stupid shit. Okay? God, this sickening fucking world. The world that I grew up in is gone. A lot of it because of our politicians have pushed this sick shit. Sick. Okay? You know, this country is being run by weak beta males, crazy females, and people that don't even know what their gender is. Mental illness, people. Like they say, the lunatics are in charge of the asylum. No shit. That's a prime example of it. Okay? I'm trying to have an intelligent conversation to try to sit there and make our country better. You got to have morons. That's okay. They need a place to live too. Hey, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Anything help to get the word out, make the channel grow so I can sit there and deal with more trolls. Anyway, but this is the world we live in. Our politicians are totally screwing our country into hell. I mean, Tim Walz, okay, that Minnesota governor who has tampons in the boys' bathroom and said he was friends with many school shooters and shit. That sick fuck. I mean, there was a reason I had to get out of Minnesota and go to a free state. That's one thing nice about the United States. If you live in a state that's lost its mind, like Minnesota, or soon to be the exodus from New York City, you can go somewhere where you're free. Somewhere where you can carry a gun anywhere you want to. Even around cops, it doesn't matter. You're allowed to protect yourself out here. Promote being straight and the nuclear family. Yeah. You know, like we all grew up, we had a mother and a father. We knew the roles of males and females. Not to say, I'm just sick of this shit. It's against nature. It's got nothing, you know, animals know what's male and female. Animals are smart enough to know if they're a boy or a girl, but human beings aren't. Yeah, the nuclear family's gone. See, they had to destroy the nuclear family. They had to make it so dad didn't work all day, mom stayed home with the kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. For many generations, people lived like that, and they were happy together, and their kids grew up productive. What do we got now? What do we got now? Destroy everything. Oh, we don't even know who your father is. Or you know, and parents don't want responsibility. You know, part of the nuclear family is parents they're the ones that control that. And we got parents, like I say, these school teachers in kindergarten are quitting because half the class aren't even potty trained. We don't have the nuclear family, even when we got a mother and father and kids at home anymore. Because these parents are so freaking lazy, they don't want to do what they need to do to better their child's life. All I know is if I was a kindergarten teacher and I had to deal with children that were soiling their undergarments because they weren't potty trained, those parents would be called in immediately. I mean, kindergarten teacher isn't supposed to have to potty train kids. There's a lot of teachers that have had it with this younger generation. Parents won't do their job right anyway, just because our politicians made it that way. You know, like breakfast in schools. Everybody thought, oh, that's great. Kids get breakfast in school. Yeah, now the parents don't even have to make their kids breakfast. Now, I believe that kids in public schools should get free lunches, just for the simple fact, in this country, if we sit there and say, yep, you got to be at this school to get an education, which is helping them, but they should feed them. Like instead of feeding Ukrainian children at school. You know what I'm saying? But our politicians, they are completely the frick out of control. Out of control. Is a chosen people, Noah. I'm the chosen people, Noah. Hey, Bambi, I saw those pictures of Impeach modeling your stuff. Maybe not agree with everything you say, but think you're okay. You can meet them on YouTube and become friends with them. And maybe never meet them in your life. But still, it's the only place you can actually go places. And because if you live in a big city and you would think like me, let's say me living in Portland, how many people do you think I'd have as friends? Not many. I made a whole Out West series on him and the Follies. You made a whole Out West series? Tell you what, I don't do. Being a creator, you know what it's like, Bambi, trying to watch. Like when Peach comes on, I like to watch him, at least when I'm riding horse. I always check to see if he's on there real quick. I can sit there and listen to him while I'm riding horse. I like doing that stuff, but, you know, I need to find out if he's heard from Carol lately. But call being an adult. Yeah, the thing is, if you don't raise your children to have a future, they're never going to. But anyway, all because of our politicians. Our politicians are pushing this shit, this mental illness, this stuff that upsets the average American, 80% white. They would say that needs diversity, right? But a community that would be 80% black, you don't hear nothing about diversity in those communities, do you? You ain't saying nothing. We need to get some whites in here. Or how about Cape Cod and stuff? All those rich vacation places. We need to get some poor people in here. Nope, nothing like that. By the way, it's getting really hard. You know, the age I am and how I grew up and when things Twilight Zone. And the younger generations that were born in the 90s, you know, especially if you start school after 9/11, you have no clue. I actually started back with Clinton in schools and stuff, but thanks to all the veterans. Oh, yes, it's Veterans Day. I forgot that. It was also yesterday was the Marine Corps birthday. After my live stream, I forgot because I was so wanting to do the video on the government shutdown, I completely forgot about the Marine Corps birthday. Back in 1775, my Marine Corps came alive. November 10th, 1775, Tun Tavern, Philadelphia. A bunch of drunk people got together. I'm pretty sure it was Philadelphia. Somebody said Boston, but I'm pretty sure from my Marine Corps, it was Philadelphia. Anyway, got together a bunch of drunk people and said, let's form the Marine Corps. And we have gotten many titles since then. The Germans during World War I called us devil dogs after the Battle of Belleau Woods. Okay? Leathernecks. Why did we get that term? It was a piece of leather when Marines were on ship, because Marines are basically naval infantry. They would wear a piece of leather around their neck to protect themselves from sabers cuts and stuff. Anyway, boy, that didn't go down right. I know he does, and I also do his, you know. We all got our purpose in life, okay? I've given up on trying to, anyway, I serve my God. You know, I don't fear anything, especially a freaking politician or the government. What's the only thing they could do to me? Release me from this plane of existence. Anyway, I don't fear these pieces of shit. You know, I have faith in the Lord, and I have faith in my purpose that I'm doing in the Lord, you know. Being out here, for instance, trying to change people's minds or inform them about what, not change your mind, inform you of what's going on. The stuff gets you a different way to think about. See, once you start this old gears rolling in here, all the trash starts falling out your ears and common sense comes back. Anyway, they don't want, the last thing the Democrat Party wants, the last thing they want one of their supporters to do is to go out and get a job, start paying taxes and understand what the taxpayer has a gripe about, and decide, hey, I'm going to sit there and improve myself and become self-sufficient, independent, where they don't need government assistance at all. That's the last thing the Democrats want one of their followers to do. And the Republicans are getting the same way. All this government supporting people's lives. It's our money, people. It's our money. It's time out of your life, not out of your day, but out of your life that you take to earn money to pay for people that don't seem to have the ambition to want to do anything. Fun fact: people think that burning at the stake was a massive fire event. You would inhale the flames in Paris within 30 seconds. They slowly molded you, catering the wound with fire and day. I don't quite get all that. Anyway, politicians are a bunch of screwballs. Like I say, once they go to D.C. and they get that money flashed in front of their face, see, this is the way politics works. When I first got out of the Marine Corps, I was getting into politics. I was going to rallies and stuff and talking to the politicians and stuff. And I figured out how it worked. I was starting to talk to people I didn't know, and they would just start talking to me. And the thing is, they sit there and see somebody that stands out. I stood out. A lot of people thought I was either running for office or I was Secret Service, dressed in a suit and stuff. And these big money come up to you and they start talking to you. And see if you got the charisma it takes to get people to listen to you. If you're intelligent, you don't even have to be intelligent. AOC, they go to her, hey, this woman looks like she can get some people to sit there and follow her and stuff. And that's what it is. Okay, they buy you. We'll help put you in office. And they groom you like they're their best friends. It's like, fuck you. Okay, I found out what politics is like. And that's all you got in D.C. is a bunch of groomed people that when they got to D.C. got to be the final prize. And then they all got a file on them, right? But that's what our politicians are, and they're just destroying our country. All of this illegal immigration that we're dealing with now. How come there's not one politician that's been in office over the last 50 years that isn't in jail because of our immigration issue in this country? How come? Last 4 years, how come nobody in the administrations right now is facing charges for dereliction of duty for sure? Against the Constitution, all these people, they break the Constitution, they don't even care. They don't even care. Or like you say, I can read the Constitution. I read the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights. I understood it. It was like, not a problem, sir. Pretty easy to me. But ones that are making sure that your life is just as screwed up as possible. Anyway, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, to subscribe, and the bell notification. I say that every once in a while, get the channel grow. Watch all my other content. Give me some time spent on my channel. And see if I'm nuts. How you not supposed to be nuts in today's world. In the Twilight Zone, the episodes of Twilight Zone, who is always the one losing their mind? That's right. The character that was in reality and then had to go to the Twilight Zone, all these people, this is the way, the new normal. And this guy's like, no way. See, the same person in the Twilight Zone was always the one that was, next 2 years in the presidency in the next 3. I tell you what, all you mega, okay, because a lot of us mega people or Republicans, conservatives, that Trump don't need us no more because the lists don't exist. I don't need shit like that in D.C. We need a new whole overhaul of these politicians. We need to get our country back to a constitutional republic like it was in 1789. Okay? Because right now, we're never going to get that. We're so far in debt. The sacrifice the average American's going to have to go through to pay off the debt in this country? Thanks to our politicians. $38 trillion plus in debt. And they were so sly about it that the American citizen didn't do a damn thing about it or even stop them. Vote third party. I'm not voting at all no more. I'm done. I vote 1776. Okay, if there's a politician on it, I vote none of the above. It doesn't matter. Which only took a few hours But now we got machines doing it that should be faster, and it takes them, like California, the last election, after they were able to steal a bunch of more congressional seats. Oh, after 2 weeks, we finally got them. Oh, what was it, a month? They finally got them all counted. I think Arizona was 2 weeks, right? It doesn't matter, people. Our system has been hijacked by a bunch of freaking crooks. And they get politicians in office that will continue the scam. God, I can't stand people that bitch, but no solution. Oh, I got a solution. I'm a Marine. I know the solution. It's called content. You people that sit there and don't bitch are the ones that piss me off. You just go about life. Oh, things are going to get better. Things are going to get better. Really? 30 years ago, 27 years ago, all we had to worry about in this country was Monica Lewinsky. Looks like things have gone down the toilet since then, huh? But don't worry, you got these people. It'll get better. I'll just sit here in my little car and wear my mask with my windows up, and things are going to get better. No, they're not going to get better. And if you're not willing to stand up for your freedom and do whatever it takes to maintain your freedom, then you just became a slave to whoever wants to take your freedom. Oh, I got my newest convenience in my hand. Ooh. Hey, the government's going to give me $1,000 stimulus check. Ooh. I'm all for this shit. Oh, I got a solution, buddy. Okay? And the thing about it is when us 20% and us vets take our country back, even you sorry ass sons of bitches, liberals, are going to get to benefit from it. But you know what? All your crazy shit, we're going back to the Constitution. No more a democracy. Where did they start teaching that shit? Democracy. Boy, I learned in civics class, we're a constitutional republic. Oh, we are a constitutional republic. Oh, we're not a democracy. But everybody in this country seems to want our democracy, even though it's ruined our country. The constitutional republic made our country great, and the democracy is killing it. But let's have a democracy, right? I tell you, I'm so tired of this government. But not enough people have been screwed over enough. I guess not enough people, working people, have been robbed enough by the government. EBT, okay, but there's only 42 million people on EBT, right? I wonder what the grocery stores are going to look like when that kicks in. I wonder if that's going to look like 42 million people. Bullshit. See, they lie to us. There's more than 42 million people on food stamps, probably 142 million. They lie to us about inflation. Oh, there's no inflation. Trump, the American citizens has more money than he ever had. Bullshit. Did he grow up in the 90s? I will say with Bill Clinton, there was more stupid. That's what he was told, right? And he figured it out. But they still all lie to us. I'm so sick of them lying to us. It's like your kid comes to you after you saw them do something, and you bring them to you, and you're going to discipline them on it, and they're lying to your face. I didn't do that, but I saw you do. No, I didn't do that. This is the crap we deal with these politicians. To enforce it, these beta males. Do you think I'm going to listen to their shit? Do you think because they decided to pass some law that's unconstitutional, I got to follow it? I don't have to follow any unconstitutional goddamn laws. Just like in the military, I didn't have to follow any unlawful orders. And if I don't have to not break, whatever. But they got the Supreme Court. And then Donald Trump. We need to get rid of the filibuster. So you can't get passed because you start losing. So all of a sudden the rules all change and everybody's got to follow them. Is that what you are, Donald Trump? A sore loser? Because there's a lot of Americans that don't agree with you. There's a lot of Americans that are apolitical. Like me, I'm a constitutional conservative. So which party do I like? Neither frickin' one. Because they all steal money from me. and everybody else and spend it on shit that none of us want and keep putting the country in debt. Tell me which party doesn't do that. Wings of the same bird, people, wings of the same bird. And we all get to deal with it every day. Like I say, we got male, faggot, flaming homosexual cheerleaders now in football. If I would have seen that in the Metrodome, I'd have walked out. If I would have had to look at them cheerleaders, see some faggot homosexual, flaming homosexual retard, I would have walked out. Pushing this shit on us. Can we keep anything sacred to our culture? Now, I don't have a problem with male cheerleaders. Like in college, there was some guy sat there and told a story about he had a friend that was a male cheerleader. He goes, yeah, I loved it. I get to sit there and toss beautiful girls up in the air all the time. That sounds like a normal man. I mean, our society is sick. And these rich people are pushing this shit. The people with all the college are supposed to be so smart, and now the NFL, all these smart people think we need men cheerleaders. I guess there's 6 teams that have it. It's beyond sickness. I mean, there's so many things I'd rather do than watch the NFL. Thanks NFL for taking Sunday afternoons from me where I could just sit there and enjoy, sit down in front of the tube and watch football. But now the way they got kickoffs too, what a bunch of fags. Why don't you just put the women on the field to play football and the men along to sit there and do the cheerleading? Hey, NFL, that'd be the next best step because you just ruined hell out of your franchise. I guess China will just come in with all their money and take over. Anyway, American pastime, man sport. Not that women didn't like watching it, but, and I'm sure there's women that probably like the cheerleaders too. In fact, men like looking at women and women like looking at women. Where's the homosexual in that? But having to watch this stuff, it just pisses me off. Pisses me off. I say everything that we had in the past where things were normal and straight, those were all bad. These younger generations telling us, baby boomers, we don't know what it's really like. The world that you 20-year-old screwballs came into, who created that world? I should say, who destroyed that world? It is Gen X that has Gen X and maybe some baby boomers that have the most responsibility for the screwed upness of this country. They voted for the Department of Education and got it. Thank God I had teachers before the Department of Education. Okay, baby boomers and Gen X were doing all the legislation to bring in this crazy shit. Okay, it's not the kid that was born 20 years ago that brought this shit in that turned them into a powder puff. It's all the laws passed back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s from these retards and 90s. If you can't look at our country and see that we are screwed as a country, we're on the decline, people. And eventually, we will be occupied by a foreign force. If China were to invade now, there'd probably be 150 million Americans that would give them food and lodging to sit there and take on our military. Am I lying there? No, I'm not. Because they've been taught communism was good. Hey, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and the bell notification. Anything to help the channel grow. I don't sell stuff on this channel. I'm not going to act like an infomercial, especially when times are tough. We need the best reward I can get from this channel is not having to eventually be on YouTube no more because we got our country back and I can go live like that, enjoy myself. I can go sit there and not feel guilty about being happy, independent, and free. Brown eyes first. Israel's first, guys. Oh no, Israel first. Not even close. Ben Shapiro, you can kiss my fucking ass. Okay, I was over in Israel back in 1987. Did a lot of training with the Israeli commandos for 2 weeks there. And the country that I was in isn't the country that exists now. And I need to do a video about the Jewish international or international Jewish conspiracy. Because if it didn't exist back in the 30s, it definitely exists now. So that ought to sit there and make a few people happy. He's like a living satire. It's better than being called AI. Some of the shorts I put up, is that AI? And that's one thing about YouTube. I tell you what, all these AI videos they got on there, they're just destroying YouTube. I mean, it's like you got a bunch of 5-year-old retarded children, adults, making this stuff up, thinking it's going to be funny. Not even close. But, whatever, YouTube, you can throw out 1 million shorts and maybe and those are the ones they push, though, because they feel they make money on. But they're beyond retarded. I hear a lot of them are coming from India and stuff. But, YouTube is the first social media platform that comes out and produces a product. What I mean by content that people like, that the majority see, this should be all content, even stuff I don't agree with, because on social media there will be somebody that wants to watch it. I mean, if you're a sick freak and want to watch some guy who dresses up like a woman put makeup on, more power to you. If you want to be one of those people that watch the skinny guy eat McDonald's every day till he's 400 pounds, more power to you. Those people have a right to put their content on too. But all of it, these Democrats, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, except if you're conservative, right? But the first CEO that gets their head out of their ass of these social media platforms and realizes that, hey, I'm going to put some content on here that I don't agree with, okay? When anybody can come to that social media platform and find the content they want to watch just as easy as the next guy, that'll be the first social media platform that takes off. But then again, all these guys are extremely highly educated business people. So anyway, I do real well on my business and trees because I provide a service that people need. I do a good job, and it just, it works. But anyway, we got these business execs that are just retards. Anyway, what do you do in today's world? This is why they're all in cahoots. Now you got Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg. Don't forget, Mark Zuckerberg donated $1 million to Trump's inaugural ball, $1 million for a ball. And that was probably just a drop in the bucket. All they are is they're defending each other. They're watching each other's back. Oh, don't let this get out about Trump and stuff. They just bury everything. YouTube sat there and admitted that they conspired with the Biden administration to cancel channels and stuff, and it's doing the same with the Republicans. The thing in politics is, right, even though the other side did something illegal, they did it first. So it's okay for our side to do it now. Hey, that's okay, as long as we just do it against the other side. This tick for tack shit. Whine your life away. Hey, Victor, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for commenting. I don't whine my life away. Like I say, go watch some other content, sir. Whining. You know what? Actions. All these people, like I say, everything's fine. I got my EBT today. Everything's fine, right? Nothing to whine about there because I'm going to work and make sure that all your needs are taken care of. Anyway, crazy world we live in, people. This is what happens when you got a bunch of crazy ass devil-filled politicians with a bunch of mush minds they created over the years. Mush. Complete mush. I mean, kids at 5 years old having to take medications for every day for the rest of their life. What kind of people do that to their kids? putting your kids in debt up to their eyeballs before they're even born so we can continue our lifestyle. What kind of people do that to their unborn children? You'd think maybe they might hate us in the future. All because we want to, there's certain people that just want to make sure they live their easy life. What a waste of life. Being on government assistance, always having to have somebody take care of you, make sure your needs are met. Talk about a prison and a half. You never get to spread your wings and soar, ever. Because you're anchored down by that government teat. 95% of Epstein's files is Democrats. Fact. I don't think so. You want to see, this is the thing, people. This list is more than Democrats and Republicans from our country. It includes royalty, CEOs of companies, leaders of other things on it too. Okay? I'm not going to hear that all Democrats are bad. There's a lot of Democrats, and right now, you say anything bad about MAGA, I have MAGA attack me just as bad as the liberals do. None of you guys can sit there and hear a different opinion. Like I say, Trump went in there saying he was going to release the Epstein list, arrest people, right? Yeah, hell, back in 2016, I watched that debate where he pointed his finger at Hillary Clinton and said, if I get president, you're going to jail. Let's see. 9 years later, nobody's in jail yet. The first 100 days of the Biden administration, how long did it take them to arrest the January 6th protesters? Not very long. And then to come to find out in the last couple of days that the bomb that was planted at January 6th was done by an FBI agent. How many January 6th protesters went to jail because they tried to trump this shit up? Boy, I love to see all the video from the Capitol during that day, but we're not going to see it. None of it, are we, Nancy Pelosi? Our government's as crooked as a question mark. Anyway, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Because like I say, they don't want us to organize. That's how we're going to get rid of this shit, is we need to organize. If we could have a bloodless, non-shooting war to take our country back. Like I say, if all the vets, about 3 or 4 million vets got together and decided to get together and have a training exercise, like the military had training exercises, we'd have a training exercise on the perimeters of Washington, D.C., just drilling and stuff like that, Show D.C. that we're serious about it. That any minute we can just come in there and take over the fucking city. That's what we need to do. See, the thing is, what do we need to do? Number one, the government needs to fear us. A government that fears the people serves the people. A people that fear the government serves itself at the people's expense. Okay? And that's what we need to do. We need to take our country back. It's going to come to a shooting war. I mean, it's not like the only reason it come to a shooting war is because the ones in power aren't going to give up their power to the people that provide the power. That's us. Okay? They're not going to give it up. But then again, they're not going to have many people on their side. And they're all a bunch of freaking beta males. Beta males. They're going to have platoons filled up of transgenders, flaming homosexual cheerleaders and shit that don't even know what end of a gun a fucking bullet comes out of. Yeah, the government has nukes. What, are they going to nuke our own soil? Do you think if we're going to attack D.C., they're going to nuke D.C.? What moron thinks that shit? And also, they have nukes. Yeah, the government has nukes, but also who has nukes? Oh, that'd be Russia, China, Iran, yes, North Korea, and they all hate us. So anyway, I wonder why. I wonder why all these governments hate us around the world. Because you got Mr. Trump and all our other politicians decide they were going to play God over the world. And I don't think our founding fathers had anything in mind about the United States one day becoming police force of the world. We lost our country. The politicians have flushed it down the toilet. Financially, we can never recover. I mean, with gold the way it is now, our economy should be beyond in the crapper. We should have hyperinflation. Okay? The stock market shouldn't even really exist anymore. Of government entitlements, we wouldn't have them no more if we lived in a normal, sane world. The thing is, the more they try kicking the can down the road and just, they gave $120 million to the bank, $120 billion to the banks last week to keep them solvent and stuff. When all of this comes to a head, we saw what happened when government shut down and people were going to lose their government entitlements. What kind of chaos that was about to create. What are we going to do when the EBT cards actually aren't going to get filled anymore? What are we going to do when the grocery stores don't have food in it because the semis can't run? Because all these companies that live on credit, when to buy their fuel and pay for their employees, when the credit markets all dry up, freeze up, and they don't have no money, things are going to get bad, people. And I'm just like I'm saying right here and right now, we have nobody to blame but ourselves because we allowed our government to get so out of control and so unhinged and so away from the American idea, culture, and everything, Jewish propaganda. Okay, I tell you what, who said that? CS, I tell you what, you need to sit there and come when I do my video on the international Jewish conspiracy. Okay? At least the Muslims believe Christ was son of God or a prophet. Okay? The Jews, fuck you, Ben Shapiro. You want to sit there and cut down Jesus Christ and make it sound like you're better than he is, Ben Shapiro? You're out of your fucking mind. But where did Israel learn all this goofy shit where you can bomb whatever country you want to? Well, that's because they learned it from the U.S. And since they got the U.S. politician backing them, hey, we'll go against the Wailing Wall and prove that we're your bitch Israel. I don't have a problem with the Israeli people. Just like, most people don't have a problem with the American people. Okay, we've been hijacked by a bunch of sick, twisted, demented criminals that are all beta males and crazy females. And Israel, the same thing happened to them. When I was in Israel in 87, the oldest person could walk down the darkest alley in the middle of the night and not have to worry about nothing. I guess it's probably changed a little bit since then, huh? I think it probably has. All because our politicians are making things better. All our politicians do is destroy shit, and destroy shit, and take money from us so they can fight it. Like I say, how about the Congress? You're supposed to release to the public on how taxes are spent. All taxes are spent every once in a while. How about since in the Constitution, we are allowed access to the information Doge had because that should be on the internet. The Congress is supposed to release that to the public. Everything that should be released on the internet for all of us to see. How long do you think our government would be in power if they put that out on the internet? 2, 3, 4 hours maybe? Hell, they'd probably sit there and get on their planes and leave the country and then put it out. So they got out before it went nuts. I mean, they always say you want to find the crime, follow the money. Well, with $38 trillion in debt, there's a lot of money trails to follow, wouldn't you say? They're destroying the country that I grew up in, the country I served in the Marine Corps. They're destroying all of it. Kids don't even know what being free is anymore. We got more cops on the street. They're tracked, everything on their phone. Everything they do is tracked. They don't know what freedom is anymore. But they get told they do. 95% of Jews do not originate from Europe. Joe Biden and Clinton in the files. Oh, I'm sure they are. Well, Jojo, he like touching. They all are. Who hasn't seen that portrait of Bill Clinton sitting across the arms of a chair in a red dress with high heels? Who hasn't seen that painting? It was a painting. So that means he sat there and posed for a while. Epstein had it. Nothing. This is why I won't listen to these stupid fucks anymore. Because they're a bunch of godless pieces of shit beta males that are criminals. Hear that, politicians? I don't have no time for you no more. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, you're against the American people. Like I say, how is Donald Trump supposed to identify with somebody who's struggling to keep ends meet, struggling to feed their family, struggling to keep the lights on, and all they are is the only solution that the average American's got is we got to work more hours or get another job, but we can't do that no more because we got all these illegals and H-1B visa foreign workers in this country taking our jobs. And then AI. I tell you what, if you got a sit-down job where you sit in front of a computer, I would find another skill. Another skill that maybe you get your hands dirty, work out in the elements, and stuff like that. They're never going to be able to have AI cut trees. Okay, you ain't going to be able to do that. And it's not like you have a drone flying around with a saw and cut where they need to cut, okay? And you're never going to have AI take over being a cowboy. They may try to get them they drive tractors and stuff, but anyway, need to get in one of those jobs where your job is safe. Because the government eventually, see, with all this, then they can say, guess what? There isn't enough jobs for Americans. We just need to put all you on universal basic income, and with AI doing jobs and these companies having to pay taxes, because if an AI takes a human job, well, the human's no longer paying taxes. So is the company just not having to pay taxes on that labor anymore? Because our government will go broke then. But anyway, they'll come up with some solution situation for it. And they'll sit you down and say, you can sit there and do nothing. See all these people their whole lives? They haven't had to do nothing. They have food in their belly. They have everything. Yeah, they don't have freedom, but they have everything else. And then I'd say, what about that time the government shut down, no EBT? They're trying to get us in full control. If you depend on the government, if you have the government and depend on the government to solve your problems, you empower the government. If you solve your problems by yourself, you empower yourself. And that's the last thing the government doesn't want. Governments, the older they get, the more control they want. And if they don't have control over the littlest thing, like I say, they're even in our bedrooms now. Pushing I'm just saying, I'm a moral person. I'm not going to accept this immorality. It's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong, and it's unnatural. Anyway, no, I can't read that. I don't read Hebrew. I think that's Hebrew. That'd be right to left. I'm going to do a video on the International Jewish Conspiracy, and I'm going to see if I can sit there and get canceled. Because if I get canceled, I know it was right. Just like when I did a video on alien abduction, and they shut down my live stream, said you are finished, and then made it like I never even made that video. So it just tells me I'm right. So anyway, yeah, please hit that thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Trying to get this channel to grow. You say eventually I would like to where I don't have to be on YouTube, where I could sit there and not see flaming homosexual male cheerleaders at football games. We'd go back to the way it was, where toughness was Took away masculinity of men too. Look at what we're dealing with. I mean, that flaming homosexual gay guy on the cheerleader, there's two of them, are taking away spots from women that worked their whole life to get there. Nobody has a problem with that. These guys sit there and take first place, like Leah Thompson or whatever her name is, from these women athletes, and nobody's got a problem with it. I mean, can you imagine 100 years from now when a normal kid's looking at a woman's list of records and stuff, and then they see guys on there, be like, why are the women records, the first 5 places held by guys? What kind of sick people is that crap? I mean, we're going to be completely laughed at, people, completely laughed at for our intolerance. How we sat there and just spent money like it was. Things are going to get bad, people. Okay, it's not going to like it's going to get better, because there are people in this world that just will not be controlled. And that is the 20% that will bring freedom to the rest of the world. The ones that will never give up their freedom, ensure freedom for everybody else. And that's why it only takes 20%. And this is what we're coming to. It's going to be a worldwide thing, though, this time, people. England, how are you people putting up with this shit? Digital IDs now and shit. Oh, you can't get a job if you don't have a digital ID. Then can I get out of this fucking country then? We need to take control back before we don't have the ability to take control back. Where there's no way we can even organize anymore. If you have more than 4 patriots in a building together for more than 10 minutes, they send a missile at it and blow the son of a bitch up. Those are the days that are headed to. These people will have complete control. And if they got to take your life to achieve it, they don't care. You're just another thing that ain't in their way anymore. You know, I'll be, to these rich elites and shit, I'll be your John Connor, you fuckers. Okay? I live out here in the middle of nowhere all by myself. I don't fear you pricks at all, because you'd have to come out of your hellhole to sit there and come out here and try to make something of it. And like I say, we don't have no Starbucks out here and stuff, so they'd be lost right away. So anyway, this is the world we live in, people, and our government's doing it to us. Governments all over the world are destroying the world. And when do we have world wars? When do we have them? When a bunch of retarded leaders get together and decide, let's have war. When all our governments are hijacked by who they've been hijacked by. That's when we have a crazy world war. And doesn't it seem like they all kind of want it? It's like they're all on the same side. It's like all these leaders sit there and say they're against each other, when it really sounds like, to me, they want this war because they're against us. Because I'm sorry to say, people, the elites are not as divided as the average citizen is in any country. The elites aren't that divided. Move away from the USA. To where? To where? See, I'm not going to move away from the USA. I'm just going to get out. There's lots of places out west that don't see human beings. I've ridden horse in a lot of places in the mountains where they're just saying human beings, where you can disappear into the woods and live just fine, like they did 200 years ago. Oh, you can't do that these days. Well, maybe you're too much of a wuss so that you can't. Okay? Maybe you need to have a real good job so you have lots of money, because you got to pay people to do everything for you because you have no skills. But not everybody's like that. I always say, when SHTF hits, all the people that have the skills are going to have all the golden power. Because when the status quo changes and money means nothing, where, the status quo will change. The meek will inherit the earth. From Ukraine, huh? Are you for your Zelensky? You're your dictator that doesn't have elections no more because he doesn't want to get kicked out of office? Learn to speak Russian. That's my advice to you Ukrainians. Because once the well dries up here, Europe don't have no well, but once our well dries up, you'll be Russian territory. So, I learned how to speak Russian. Just, hey, this is what you can do when you can thank the United States for helping you get into that situation. I mean, why did Russia invade Crimea in 2014? Oh, yeah, the CIA's coup and stuff against the Russian, pro-Russian Ukrainian government. Anyway, like I say, Ukraine, you can thank yourself and the United States. And you can thank Hunter Biden for being on that Brezhnev board. These morons can't keep any secrets. They just call them rumors, and they send out a bunch of disinformation by their little minions on social media, like Israel paying some creators $7,000 for one video and stuff. Anyway, let's not talk about that, right? If you got to pay somebody to get on social media to defend you or promote your idea, all you are is paying an advertiser. Anyway, crazy world we live in, right? What I see there about New York. Is anyone else having YouTube issues? Oh, absolutely. I tell you what, you fight YouTube all the time. I mean, people I subscribe to, I got to go resubscribe to them again. They're no longer on my feed no more. Why not? Oh, I got to go back and subscribe to them. People that had live streams that had thousands of people on them before, now, and conservatives have maybe hundreds. Okay, YouTube, like I say, all these business execs, I'm going to shoot myself in the hand and the foot. I don't want to make any money. He said something that upset me. Oh! I'm so sick of these wimps. We were taught sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt you. You're responsible for your own emotions. I mean, that's the thing with these trolls. They get on the chats and they think they're going to sit there and because the little harmless word hurts them, they think it hurts everybody. No, none of us are wimps. I mean, they need to build a new gun that doesn't shoot bullets. All it does is yell the truth out, and you'd have these suckers in their foxholes in the corner screaming like they're a little bitch. You think insults are going to work when you're in a firefight? A lot of growing up to do. But anyway, yeah, our politicians suck. I can't fucking stand them. I'm done with all of them. They're destroying our country. And it's a sad thing that a lot of Americans can't see who the true enemy is and would rather hate their neighbor because their politician told them to. Who's going to be cleaning up the swamp? The people who made the swamp, the American people. The people who allowed the swamp to happen, the American people. That's who's going to have to clean up the swamp, and it's not going to get cleaned up before then. Like I say, he's got the National Guard in D.C. now. How come he's not draining the swamp? Let's arrest that guy selling the baggie on the corner, but we're not going to arrest that politician that's on the list that don't exist, that took a bunch of bribe money. This is the thing, people. The average people like you and me could not even be the criminals these people are. We're not rich or powerful enough to break the crimes, to do the crimes they're making. We don't fit into that elite category where they can do their elite crimes. It's time for these elites and their politicians to understand where the power really comes from. Just banks. If everybody for 1 quarter, if we could all get together as a people, for 1 quarter. But we could never get them to do that. Every time you go to a bank and borrow money for something you want right now, you give the power to the bank, the financial power over your life. So there goes his shitty internet again. It's not me, sir. This is you. This is YouTube trying to make it so you can't watch me. I got too many people in this live stream. YouTube's getting pissed about it. They don't like it. When my channel grows, they do this shit all the time. All of a sudden, we have technical difficulties. But if they cut me, anyway, this is what it is. This is what happens. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. But it's not my internet. It's not my internet. It's YouTube playing their little games. You know, this is why they say AI is perfect and technology is perfect for screwing your life. But that's what they do. 37 people are screwing up your feed. You know, sir, I don't know what to tell you. Denver, go make your own fucking channel. Why are you still here if you don't like it? Yes, and 37 people, because not 37 people. Right now, I've had thousands of people come in and on this stream. Pretty good for a guy who only has 1,000 subscribers, huh? I mean, I sat there and had over 100,000 views, 200 subscribers in 1 week. You know, and then all of a sudden, nothing. Yeah, YouTube don't want 37 people. How many people did Christ need, Jesus need to change the world? That would have been 12. All it takes is one person to make a difference. And they want to make sure that one person never hears me on my live stream. I'm not saying I'm that person. I'm saying that person may come to the live stream and see it. They don't want that. It's a danger to them. Danger. Anybody hearing the truth, thinking for themselves, is a danger to a politician. When you can look at the screwed up shit a politician is trying to stuff down your throat and saying, you know what? I don't want to swallow that because it looks, smells, and tastes like shit. But, you know, I'm not, like I say, I'm not expecting to change the world. I'm just on here trying to enlighten some people that the government is not your friend. And if you like all this social disruption we have in this country because they're trying to destroy our American culture, if you're all for that, you're not an American. Okay, if you're not for the American culture, I don't have no time for you. If you're not for the Constitution, I don't have no time for you. You're the one who needs to move the fuck out of this country. Us vets and patriots will not allow one little inch of ground to be taken by you creepazoids. And the problem is going to be solved. So many people would rather live as a slave instead of be free. They're not willing to sacrifice any of their modern conveniences or anything, their soft lifestyle, to remain free. They'd rather stay on their knees, do whatever it takes to suck what they need from the government. And some of us would sit there, hell no, ain't ever going to happen. Like I say, us 20% will always make sure that you freedom-hating individuals get to experience freedom, no matter how much you hate it. The light will always, always oversight the darkness. Throughout history, that's one thing we have learned. You know, all governments have learned. Throughout history, every government in history has learned that the ember of freedom is more powerful than the sword or the fire that forges the sword of control. Always. Always. But you always got some morons in there, you know, the ones that got picked on in school and stuff, and now they're big politicians, all these beta males, think they got a better way of doing it without destroying their country in the process. Well, our politicians did find a way. The only reason that we're not a third world country right now is because we got the world reserve currency. That is it. Once that no longer happens and BRICS takes over more and more and more, and more of that US dollars keep coming back to the US, and more of these developing countries go to the BRICS nations for funds instead of the US. Yep. Then Americans are really going to know what sacrifice is. And what it's like to not have, it's just going to get bad, people. Americans are not ready for it. We are going to become the worst third world country, far worse than Venezuela. Remember, Venezuela used to be a hopping country until the socialists took over. And I guess the bigger we are, the harder we fall. And we're going to fall pretty damn hard when it comes time. CS, then the Native and Asians is a Jewish conspiracy. Then the natives are Asians I don't understand that. You sound ridiculous. Well, okay, thank you, Denver. Hey, I appreciate you still being here. Like I say, Denver, you don't have to agree with me. I'm not asking you to. And if you're from Denver, I'm only 3.5 hours from you in that liberal hellhole, I can see why you think that. Okay? It's amazing all you Denver people got to come out here to Ogallala, Nebraska. I don't live in Ogallala, but to Lake McConaughey, right? But you done fucked up Ogallala too. That's nothing but a liberal hellhole too. But see, you're allowed to believe that way, Denver. You're allowed to believe anyway, and so am I. But, there's got ones that insult because they hate themselves when they look at in the mirror. They can't stand themselves. They hate their lives. And the only thing they can try to do is make other people miserable. I live a free life, sir. Okay? You got to try it once. You might be a little happier in life. Anyway, you know what an MOS is, right? Of course I do. It's a military occupational specialty. What am I going to get the military to see if I was in the military? Anyway, hello from Hawaii, just saying hi. Hey, Phil. Hey, I was raised in Minnesota there. Moved out of there, had to get to Nebraska, where people are saying. But yeah, your neighbors to the north. I tell you what, we had Iowan jokes all the time we were growing up, right? It's time for you Iowans to start making some serious Minnesotan jokes if you ain't got them already. Because your neighbor to the north, you got Tim with tampon machines in the boys' bathroom and so. Come on, Iowa, come up with some good Minnesota jokes. I want to hear them. This guy's a stolen valor. Fuck. Okay, whatever, dude. Whatever. See, I wonder what he bases that opinion on. Anyway, I don't really care. If you ever have to face me in combat, you'll find out that you're wrong. Okay. I tell you what, Aaron Anson or whatever, go to my channel and go to my posts. And then you can sit there and see a picture of me when I was in the Marine Corps, when I had a 47-inch chest, a 31-inch waist, 8% body fat. I was a killing machine on feet. And then you can sit there and show a picture of me on ship in my main mode of transportation. It's on there if you want to see it. And there's a picture of me with my black bear too. Yeah. So, evidence is right there. All you got to do is a little research. But anyway, we got some moron who sits there and thinks that he knows more than me. What was my MOS? I'm going to kick your fucking ass. Well, why don't you ask the FBI in the military? Why don't you get my records and find out what my MOS is? Like it's any of your fucking business. My MOS was to kill people and blow shit up. I sure wouldn't want to do my MOS now, would I? Bunch of fucking civilians. Pussies. In the Marine Corps, I pushed myself till I should have died and had to keep fucking going. But anyway. Why the FBI? Because since I had a top secret clearance, Mr. Smartass, it means I got investigated by the FBI and I got an FBI file. Oh, you didn't know that? You didn't know that if you got a top secret security clearance, you had an FBI investigation done on you? Oh, you didn't know that? Oh, I'm sorry. See, this is what you deal with. A bunch of fucking moronic civilians. These are the people that think they're going to beat us vets in a fight. Let me explain something to you about training and how a trained force is compared to an untrained force. And I'll use a football game as an analogy. One time, it was a Sunday afternoon, and we were all hanging out at the junior high school football field, and we were playing football, just being Marines, having fun and stuff. And all of a sudden, the football team, the high school football team, sees us playing, right? And they decide to come over. And we had this game against the high school football team, us Marines, full contact, no pads. It was a bash out, gang out, okay? Now, I would say we got the better of them boys, that's for sure. But they beat us. Why? Because they were organized. They practiced together. They played together. They were a team. And they beat us. So, all you people that think you're not, okay, you just don't have a chance against trained people that are trained to kill people and blow shit up. You just don't stand a chance. By the way, shot rating gets most views. Proof your stay. Training to what? I don't understand your question, Anson. Training to what? Play football. It was, I tell you what, that was one hell of a game. We must have played for a couple hours, nonstop. Those boys were tough. And that was another thing back then. The boys were tough. Big corn-fed boys. Not as muscular as, but that was a game. Not like we didn't score, but they moved the ball pretty easily. They could definitely, their passing game was a lot better. It was a fun time. But did we get mad at them for beating us? No, it was a great time. That's where I learned my lesson. You can be as big and powerful as you want, but against a trained unit, you don't stand a chance. You don't stand a chance. So anyway, but that was fun. That was a fun Sunday afternoon. That was a Sunday afternoon. We were playing football. Okay? It wasn't something we did in the Marine Corps. I'm not going to tell you, Addison, because none of your fucking business. What do you do for a living? How much money you make? Tell me right now. Tell me right now. God, I'm so sick of these demanding fucking beta males. Demanding. I don't play that game. Okay? Anyway, it was a fun time. Times you remember back when things were sane in this world. Nowadays, I'd hate to see what the football team would have looked like. Anyway, but that's one thing about sports too these days, how much weaker the children have gotten. Okay, when we played sports in high school, our coaches, except for the football coach, but the basketball coach was in there dressed up and stuff, playing if he had to. The wrestling coach, all that stuff, But not these days. The track coach dressed up, running with us and stuff. Not these days. Not these days. No, they don't even change out their civilian clothes. I mean, these athletes, these high school athletes we got now, our high school teams would have floored them in a second. Just another way you can see our culture falling apart. We're boys. Boys are supposed to be, when they're growing up, they're supposed to be pushed to do stuff that are hard, that are difficult, because they got their role in life. you know, but boys aren't being challenged no more. Hell, women aren't being challenged no more. Anyway, let's just say that the human DNA chain is weakening severely. So that's all DC, you got a message restricted. I appreciate you being here, DC. I guess you must be saying that they don't like. Why do I have to tell you, Mr. Meyer? Why? Why is it important to you? I did my duty. I did what I was told. Okay? I did it well, and I served my fellow citizens with, I was always faithful. Semper Fidelis. Okay? Kill people and blow shit up. You figure it out from there, Anderson. You figure it out from there. Okay? Was it Israel training with the Israeli commandos? What could that guy possibly have done? I don't know. I think I flipped burgers. Yeah, that's what I did. I flipped burgers, Anderson. I was a burger flipper in the Marine Corps. Yep. Couldn't wait to get to that chow hall and flip that burger. Oh, some of these liberals sometimes. I'm glad he's here. See, he's helping my channel with the analytics, making comments, spending time here. Every little thing helps on YouTube. Because this is the thing, when all this we get our country back. All these social media execs are going to be called on the carpet and will be charged with violating Americans' constitutional rights. They will be charged with it. And all this evidence that they got from shadow banning and censoring channels and canceling channels and all this shit, I mean, what are they going to say? AI did it. I didn't know it was going on. AI made me do it, right? See, eventually you guys will be punished. And then all you trolls on here, you'll see the truth. Like I say, you know the truth. And I really believe that YouTube, Jeff Bezos spends a lot of money on trolls, paying them to try to destroy his company. For some reason, these execs are just trying to destroy their companies. I mean, you want to know how much we progressed in this country? We can't even put a man into space anymore. We can't land on the moon anymore. If we can't land on the moon anymore, that must mean we never did it in the first place, right? Because if you can land on the moon once, you should be able to do it again. I believe we landed on the moon, but I'm just saying. See, progress. All the progress that our politicians have given us over the last 50 years just sucks, right? I mean, when Nixon took us off the gold standards, boy, that's sure having the consequences in it now, when our money isn't backed by gold anymore. Whatever happened to that audit of Fort Knox there, Donald Trump? Never did get that, did we? I didn't get to see what was in there. I don't think anything's in there. If it is, it's a bunch of probably gold-plated lead bars. We went to the moon 6 times, no reason to go back. What do you mean there's no reason to go back? That's not even the human experience to see what the fuck's out there. That's what drove us across the next mountain, to see what was over the mountain and stuff. That should be the base. We should already have a base there launching ships to Mars. My question is, what did they find there that we didn't go back there? No, I won't. Okay, what is it? Hey, Anderson, you ain't got to believe shit. Like I say, if you ever got to meet me in times of combat, you'll know differently, okay? I mean, I'm not going to sit. Why do I have to prove myself to you? Okay? Sorry. You say if you don't believe it, more power to you. You probably believe men can get pregnant. More power to you. That's one thing in this world, too. When somebody says I'm crazy, but they believe men can get pregnant, well, where do you even go with that? Where do you even go with that? I'm sure I won't because you'll never actually been in combat. Okay, whatever. Actually, boy, this Aniston, he's just something else. Okay, men can get pregnant. Okay, how many men have delivered babies? How many men have delivered a baby out of their womb? How many? Out of 8 billion people in this world, how many? Oh, that would be none. But hey, there's always wishful thinking. I just, women, a lot of women, wives, I'm sure would love to sit there and put childbearing experience on their husbands. They'd love to get their husbands pregnant instead of the other way around. Never happened yet, huh? Haven't seen no man delivering a baby in a delivery room except the doctor. But hey, this is today's world we live in. This is why it's all so much better. And this is what happens when, you got politicians that are complete freakzoids spreading this shit. Like that one woman from, I think she's from Connecticut. That one that looks like the character from The Dark Crystal with the purple hair and shit, with the crooked nose. Yeah, the character from The Dark Crystal. Anyway, the sun is up. I'm going to go out and enjoy my beautiful day. I tell you what, this week we're going to have here in the Panhandle, Nebraska, upper 60s and 70s. Woo! I'm going to enjoy the outside. Where you can hear and feel and see freedom. I'm going to go experience some of that today. Put a smile on my face. Because, like I say, when they come, I live in an area where I don't even have to lock my doors or take the keys out of my vehicles. So by the time whatever's going on in the big city, what's going on, whatever time it starts affecting me out here, your cities are already on fire. And when I have to start locking my doors where I live, that's where I'm off to. Further away from the treacherous animal called the human being. Anyway, appreciate everybody being here. Hit that thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification if you could. And Denver, I'll tell you, my MOS was to kill people and blow shit up. I told you, dumbass, yesterday I had 7 MOSs. Boy, some people just can't get that through their head. That must be a little worm sitting in his mama's basement, wishing, I wish I was in the military. There's so many guys that I see my age that they maybe get intimidated from my military service. Oh, I was going to join the military service, but they always have this reason why they weren't. They didn't. Okay, this is the thing. Either do it or you don't. I was going to the recruiting station when I was in the 8th grade. Going to the mall. Every time I went to that mall, I went to the Marine recruiting station. And I talked to them, and they just say, come back when you're older. Come back when you're old. And I turned 18, and I got to sit there and sign my own name and enlist. Dream come true. And I love that my home life was so bad that when I went to boot camp, I was writing my recruiter when I was in boot camp, telling him how much fun I was having. And boot camp was the easiest part of my first 4 years. So, it was just a life for me. But thanks to Bill Clinton and the Democrats, oh, we don't need the bill. We had the first Gulf War, and hell, we didn't really lose anybody, and we got the NSA listening to shit, and we got this and that. We'll just take the boots off the ground. We can get rid of all the 25% of the services. That's why we had 9/11. So, would you want to hear the story on that, Denver? If you haven't made nothing of your life, I can't help you. But I did make something of my life, and you can't take that from me. So no matter how much you don't believe, like I say, all you got to do is go to my posts on my channel. I have some posts on there, and you can see me when I was in the Marine Corps. And then one on how we used to get around when we were on my main mode of transportation the first 4 years with a helicopter. So anyway, go check them out. Not like I'm hiding it. And then, like I say, you get to see me with my bear, my Annie. So I wonder what your chicken shit ass would have done if you would have came up to my house and a bear, she would have came out of her tree. That was one thing when I had my bear. I never had to worry. I never had to keep her locked up or not like that. She had her tree she'd sit in. That was right by the house and where she couldn't be seen. And people would drive up and she would get down right away. She was friendly, but they would never get out of their car. That's the best home protection you can have is a bear. My Annie. Anyway, yeah, a bear. Go check out my posts. Go check out my posts on my channel. You'll see Annie. I got her when she was 8 weeks old and stuff. But I tell you what, it was time. It was fun. I tell you, it was a good experience. But eventually, she got old enough and stuff where we go for walks in the woods. And one day we went for a walk, and she was getting to where she was wandering and stuff. And but she always came back. Well, we went for a walk, and she looked into the woods. She stopped. She looked at the woods. And then she looked at me, and she looked at the woods again, and walked in, and I never saw her again. She was ready to go. So anyway, that was my Annie. So anyway, that's one thing in my life. I'm going to sit there and experience everything I want to experience. Do you think I'm done living my life? Done experiencing new things, learning new things? Not even close, people, not even close. All right. I'm going to go live my free life the way we were meant to do. Pursue my freedom, my happiness, and my pursuit, freedom and liberty in my pursuit of happiness without government interfering at all. Like I say, if I didn't have to pay taxes or I didn't have the VA system with medical, I wouldn't have to deal with the government at all. But then again, I haven't been to the doctor in over 20 years. Because I don't think that's a very safe place to go to, especially people my age. Banning trolls and also voting MAGA must require some serious mental gymnastics. Yeah. I tell you what, I feel suckered. I voted for Trump because I didn't want Kamala Harris to get in. That's why I voted for Trump. Not because I like Trump. It's because I hated her worse. And he basically lied about everything. Our politicians are a bunch of fucking scumbags that are using our money to screw us over. And the thing is, they're brainwashing enough Americans to think that they're doing good for them, that we can't get our country back. Too many people are bought into it. Anyway, lesser of two evils, exactly. Lesser of two evils. When did this is the Democrats and the Republicans got over 300 million people in this country, and the Democrats and the Republicans, the best people they could come up with to run for president is Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. That just shows you the state of our country. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to enjoy some of this beautiful day, this beautiful week we're going to have. And all you try to stay safe too. And, Walmart and the grocery stores may get a little full because of only the 42 million people that are on food stamps are going to make the grocery stores and Walmart look awful full over the next few days. Not the 310 million that are not on food stamps. They didn't make, the stores are empty. It's going to be the 42 million people that are on food stamps. That tells me one thing. They're lying about the numbers. And I'd say there's probably 140 million on food stamps, or the food stamp recipients see 5 or 6 times as much as the average American. And with the size of some of them, I can believe that too. Anyway, appreciate you all being here. Please hit the thumbs up and the subscribe and the bell notification. Keep the channel growing. And I think I'm going to continue on with these morning live streams. The thing is, the weather, the winter's here. My body kind of reacts to everything, and by 7, 8 o'clock, I'm in bed already, and I get up early. That's my winter schedule. So I'm going to start doing my live streams in the morning. So anyway, I appreciate everybody being here, even you trolls, okay? So, but anyway, life is great. I appreciate everybody being here. And if YouTube messed up with the live stream a little bit, I can't help that. They just don't like my channel. Anyway, this is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out of here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.